Marcus Rivera stood in front of the bathroom mirror in his small apartment. He was fixing his tie and smiling. Today was important. He had a big concert at the Performing Arts Academy where he worked. Marcus was a choir director, and everyone loved his voice. When he sang, people stopped and listened. His deep, beautiful voice could fill any room with warmth. He looked at the photo on his dresser. It showed him and his wife Sarah on their wedding day. They were both smiling so big. Sarah was wearing a white dress, and Marcus had his arm around her. That was 10 years ago. They were so happy then. They were still happy now. Marcus went to the kitchen where Sarah was making breakfast. The smell of coffee and toast filled the air. She turned around and smiled at him. Her brown eyes were shining like they always did. "You look handsome," she said. She walked over and fixed his tie, even though it was already perfect. That was just something she liked to do. "Thank you," Marcus said. He kissed her forehead. "What would I do without you?" "You would probably starve," she laughed, "or wear mismatched socks every day." They ate breakfast together like they did every morning. They talked about small things. The weather. The concert tonight. What to have for dinner. Normal things. Happy things. Marcus had no idea that this would be their last breakfast together. After breakfast, Marcus drove to the academy. He taught voice lessons all morning. His students were young people who wanted to learn how to sing. Some were very good. Some were just starting. Marcus was patient with all of them. He showed them how to breathe correctly, how to stand, how to let the music come from deep inside. Music is not just about hitting the right notes, he told his students. It is about feeling. It is about truth. When you sing, you must give a piece of your heart. His students nodded. They respected Marcus. He was not just a teacher. He was someone who really cared about them and their dreams. At lunchtime, Marcus got a phone call. It was from the hospital. The nurse on the phone sounded worried. She said Sarah had collapsed at her work. They brought her to the emergency room. Marcus needed to come right away. Marcus felt his heart stop. He dropped everything and ran to his car. His hands were shaking so much, he could barely hold the steering wheel. The drive to the hospital felt like it took forever. Every red light made him want to scream. Every slow car in front of him made him angry. He kept thinking, "Please let her be okay. Please let her be okay." When he got to the hospital, a doctor met him in the waiting room. The doctor's face was serious. Too serious. Marcus felt his stomach drop before the doctor even spoke. "Mr. Rivera, I am very sorry," the doctor said. "Your wife had a brain aneurysm. We did everything we could, but we could not save her. She passed away 20 minutes ago." The words did not make sense. Marcus heard them, but they felt like they were in another language. Sarah could not be dead. They just had breakfast together. They were just talking about dinner. She was going to come to his concert tonight. "No," Marcus said. "No, that is not possible. I want to see her." They took him to a room where Sarah was lying on a bed. She looked like she was sleeping. Her face was peaceful. But when Marcus held her hand, it was already getting cold. That was when the truth hit him like a wall. Sarah was gone. His wife, his best friend, his everything was gone. Marcus sat there holding her hand for a long time. Nurses came and went. They said words, but he did not hear them. The world had stopped making sense. How could the sun still be shining outside? How could people in the hallway still be talking and walking around? Did they not know that his whole world just ended? The next days were a blur. There was a funeral. People came and said they were sorry. They brought food that Marcus could not eat. They told him that time would heal the pain. But Marcus did not want time. He wanted Sarah back. He tried to go back to work after 2 weeks, but he could not focus. When his students sang, he heard Sarah's voice. When he walked through the halls, he remembered all the times she came to watch his concerts. Everything reminded him of her. The pain was too big. It filled up his whole chest and made it hard to breathe. Marcus started missing work. Some days he could not get out of bed. Some days he would start driving to the academy and then turn around and go back home. His boss called him. His boss was kind at first. He said Marcus could take more time. But weeks turned into months. The academy needed a choir director who could actually be there. Then the hospital bills started coming. Sarah's emergency room visit. The ambulance. The attempts to save her life. Even though she had insurance, there were still so many bills. Thousands and thousands of dollars. Marcus looked at the numbers and felt sick. How was he supposed to pay all of this? He used their savings first. Then he borrowed money from his brother. Then he started using credit cards. The bills kept coming, and Marcus kept falling further behind. His boss at the academy called again. This time the voice was not as kind. "Marcus, we love you. You are a great teacher, but we cannot keep paying you when you are not showing up. We have to let you go. I am so sorry." Marcus understood. He did not even feel angry. He just felt empty. Without his job, he could not pay rent. He tried to find another job, but who wanted to hire someone who could barely function? He went to interviews, but people could see the sadness in his eyes. They could hear it in his voice. Marcus was broken, and everyone could tell. 6 months after Sarah died, Marcus got an eviction notice. He had to leave his apartment. He packed his things into a backpack. Clothes, a photo of Sarah, his old music books. That was all he could carry. At first, Marcus stayed with friends, but he could not stay long anywhere. He felt like a burden. He saw the way his friends looked at him with pity. So he left before they could ask him to go. Then Marcus found himself on the streets. He slept in shelters when there was room. When shelters were full, he slept under bridges or in doorways. He stood in line for free meals at churches. He wore the same clothes for days. The man who once taught others to find their voice had lost everything. His job, his home, his wife, and somewhere along the way, he lost himself to. He stopped singing. He stopped caring. He became invisible, just another homeless person that people walked past without seeing. Winter was coming, and Marcus did not know how he would survive it. But somewhere deep inside, buried under all the pain and loss, his voice was still there, waiting. It would take a miracle to bring it back, or maybe just one moment of desperate courage. Marcus woke up under the highway bridge. It was early December, and the cold went right through his thin jacket. He could see his breath in the air like little clouds. His whole body hurt. Sleeping on concrete did that to a person. He sat up slowly and looked around. There were 3 other homeless people sleeping nearby. Marcus recognized them but did not know their names. On the streets, people came and went. Some you saw every day. Some disappeared and never came back. Nobody asked questions. Marcus reached into his backpack and checked his things. The photo of Sarah was still there, protected in a plastic bag. His music books were there too, though he had not looked at them in months. What was the point? He rubbed his stomach. It hurt from being empty. He had not eaten since the day before yesterday. The shelter gave out breakfast, but only if you got there early enough. Marcus had missed it. He stood up and started walking. His legs felt weak. The city was waking up around him. People in nice coats rushed to their jobs. They held coffee cups and talked on phones. They looked right through Marcus like he was invisible. He was used to it now. Marcus walked through the downtown area. This was where all the fancy restaurants were, places where rich people ate food that cost more than Marcus used to spend on groceries for a whole week. He was not planning to beg for money. He never did that. It felt like too much. Like he was giving up the last piece of his dignity. But today was different. Today he was so hungry that his hands were shaking. His head felt light, like it might float away. He knew he needed to eat something soon, or he would collapse. That was when he smelled it. The most beautiful smell in the world. Garlic bread. Roasted chicken. Tomato sauce. Fresh herbs. The smell was coming from a restaurant called Romano's. It was an Italian place with white tablecloths and candles. Through the big windows, Marcus could see people eating. They were laughing and talking. They looked warm and happy. There was an outdoor patio too, even though it was winter. The restaurant had heat lamps to keep people warm. Rich people sat out there because they thought it was fancy to eat outside in December. Marcus stood on the sidewalk and watched them. He watched a man cut into a big piece of lasagna. He watched a woman twist pasta around her fork. His stomach made a loud noise. Marcus knew he should walk away, but his feet would not move. The hunger was too strong. It was making him think crazy thoughts. He remembered that he used to be someone. He used to have a skill. He used to sing. What if he offered to sing for them? Would they give him food? Probably not. They would probably laugh at him, or call the police. But what did he have to lose? He was already at the bottom. He could not fall any further. Marcus took a deep breath. He walked up to the patio area. His heart was beating fast. A woman in an expensive coat looked up at him. Her face changed when she saw his dirty clothes and messy beard. She looked uncomfortable. "Excuse me," Marcus said. His voice came out rough. He had not used it much lately. "I am sorry to bother you. But could I sing for you? Just for a warm meal. I am very hungry." The woman stared at him. Then she laughed. It was a nervous laugh, but it was still a laugh. Other people at nearby tables turned to look. A man in a suit smirked. "Sing," the man said. "You are a singer." "I was," Marcus said quietly. "I mean, I am. I used to teach music." More laughter. A woman whispered something to her friend, and they both giggled. Marcus felt his face get hot. This was a mistake. He should leave. "Sorry, buddy, we are trying to eat here," another man said. He did not sound mean, just annoyed. Like Marcus was a fly that needed to be shooed away. Marcus saw a manager walking toward him from inside the restaurant. The manager was a big man with a thick mustache. He wore all black and looked angry. Marcus knew what was coming. He had been kicked out of places before. His body got ready to run. "Sir, you need to leave," the manager said loudly. "We do not allow panhandling here. I will call the police if you do not go right now." "I am sorry," Marcus said, backing away. "I was just asking. I did not mean to cause trouble." But then a voice spoke up. It was a young woman's voice. "Wait, Mr. Moretti." Everyone turned to look. It was one of the waitresses. She was young, maybe 25, with dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. Her name tag said Alina. She was holding a tray of dishes but had stopped walking. "Please," she said to the manager, "can we just let him sing one song? If people complain, I will pay for it from my tips." The manager, Mr. Moretti, looked at her like she was crazy. "Alina, this is not how we do things," he said. "I know," Alina said. "But it is almost Christmas. And he is just asking for food, not money. One song. What can it hurt?" Marcus looked at Alina. Why was she helping him? He did not even know her, but there was something kind in her eyes, something that reminded him of Sarah. That same goodness. Mr. Moretti sighed loudly. He looked at Marcus, then at Alina, then at the customers who were all watching now. This was becoming a scene. Maybe he figured it was easier to just let it happen. "Fine," Mr. Moretti said. "One song. 30 seconds. That is it. But if people complain, you are done for the night, Elena. No more chances." Elena nodded quickly. "Thank you, Mr. Moretti." The manager walked away, shaking his head. Elena smiled at Marcus. "Go ahead," she said softly. "You can do it." Marcus stood there in the middle of the patio. Every person was looking at him now. 20, maybe 30 people. They were all waiting. Some looked curious. Some looked annoyed. Some just looked at him with pity, like he was a sad animal at the zoo. Marcus felt panic rise in his chest. What was he doing? He had not sung in front of people in over a year. His voice was probably gone. Ruined by cigarettes he sometimes found and smoked. Ruined by sleeping in the cold. Ruined by all the crying he did when he thought no one could hear. He almost ran. His body wanted to run. But then he looked at Alina. She was watching him with hope in her eyes. She had risked her job for him. He could not let her down. Marcus closed his eyes. He thought about Sarah. He thought about the last time he sang for her. It was at home, just the two of them in the kitchen. She was washing dishes and he was drying. He had started singing an old Italian song, and she had laughed and danced with him, even though her hands were wet and soapy. That memory hurt, but it also gave him strength. Marcus opened his mouth. He chose a song that Sarah had loved. a famous aria called Nessun Dharma. It meant none shall sleep. It was about hope and victory and never giving up. It felt right somehow. The first note came out weak. Marcus heard it and felt embarrassed. But he pushed through. He kept singing. And something strange started to happen. The more he sang, the stronger his voice became. It was like something was waking up inside him, something that had been sleeping for a long time. People stopped talking. Forks stopped moving. A woman who had been about to take a sip of wine put her glass down. Everyone was listening now. Really listening. Marcus forgot about being homeless. He forgot about being hungry. He forgot about the cold and the pain and the sadness. For these few moments, he was just music. He was just voice. He was singing for Sarah. For himself. For the girl named Alina, who believed in him when no one else would. The song built and built. Marcus's voice got louder and stronger. He hit notes he thought he had lost forever. And when he reached the final line, the big finish, he put everything he had into it. All his pain. All his loss. All his hope that maybe, somehow, life could get better. The last note hung in the cold air. Then it was quiet. Marcus stood there with his eyes closed. He was afraid to open them. He had just poured his heart out in front of all these strangers. What if they hated it? What if they were getting ready to throw things at him? He waited for the laughter to start again. But instead, he heard something else. Clapping. Someone was clapping. Then another person joined in. Then another. Marcus opened his eyes and could not believe what he was seeing. Everyone on the patio was clapping. The woman in the expensive coat who had laughed at him before was clapping with tears running down her face. The man in the suit was standing up and clapping. Even Mr. Moretti, the angry manager, was clapping slowly with a surprised look on his face. "Oh my God," someone said. "That was beautiful." "I have never heard anything like that," another person whispered. Alina was smiling so big, she had tears in her eyes too. She quickly went inside and came back with a plate. It was piled high with pasta and meatballs. There was garlic bread on the side and a big salad, more food than Marcus had seen in weeks. "Here," Alina said, setting it down at an empty table. "Sit down and eat. Take your time." Marcus looked at the food. He wanted to cry. He wanted to thank her 1,000,000 times, but the words got stuck in his throat, so he just nodded and sat down. His hands were shaking as he picked up the fork. The first bite was like heaven. The pasta was warm and covered in rich tomato sauce. The meatballs were tender and full of flavor. Marcus had forgotten that food could taste this good. He had been eating out of trash cans and taking moldy bread from dumpsters for so long that real food seemed like a dream. He tried to eat slowly, but his body wanted to gulp it all down at once. People were still watching him, but now they looked at him differently. Not like he was trash on the sidewalk. Like he was a person, a real person with talent and worth. A woman came over to his table. She was older, maybe 60, with white hair and kind eyes. "Excuse me," she said. "I just wanted to tell you that your voice is a gift from God. I have seen many operas in my life, and you sing as beautifully as any professional I have ever heard. What is your name?" Marcus swallowed his food. "Marcus," he said. "Marcus Rivera." "Well, Marcus, that was extraordinary," she said. She reached into her purse and pulled out a $20 bill. "Please take this, and please take care of yourself." "I cannot," Marcus started to say, but she put the money on the table. "Yes, you can," she said firmly. "You gave us all something special tonight. Let us give something back." After she walked away, other people started coming over. A young couple left $10. A businessman left $5. A family left $15 and a bag with leftover food from their meal. Marcus could not believe it. In 10 minutes, he had more money than he had seen in months. But something else was happening too. Something Marcus did not know about. While he was singing, 3 different people had pulled out their phones and recorded him. They were not trying to be mean or make fun of him. They were recording because they wanted to remember this moment. Because they wanted to show other people what they had just witnessed. One of those people was a woman named Jennifer Chen. She had a blog about food and restaurants. Lots of people followed her blog and her social media pages. Jennifer loved to share interesting stories about the city's food scene. As Marcus ate his pasta, Jennifer was already uploading the video to her page. She wrote a caption that said, "I just witnessed something amazing at Romano's restaurant. This homeless man asked if he could sing for a meal. His voice is absolutely incredible. Who is he? Does anyone know his story? This man deserves to be heard." Jennifer had 2 million followers. Within minutes, people started watching the video. They shared it with their friends. They commented and asked questions. The video began to spread like wildfire. Back at the restaurant, Marcus finished his meal. His stomach finally felt full. Alina brought him a cup of hot coffee and a piece of chocolate cake. "This is too much," Marcus said. "You have already been so kind. Eat the cake," Alina said with a smile. "You earned it. That was the most beautiful thing I have ever heard." Marcus took a bite of the cake. It was rich and sweet. He closed his eyes and savored it. "Can I ask you something?" Alina said, sitting down across from him for a moment. "How did you learn to sing like that?" Marcus was quiet for a second. "I used to teach music," he said, "at a performing arts academy. I was a choir director for 15 years. What happened?" Alina asked gently. Marcus looked down at his coffee. "My wife died. She had a brain aneurysm. One day she was fine, and the next day she was gone. I could not handle it. I lost my job. Then I lost my apartment. Then I lost everything else." "I am so sorry," Alina said. She reached across the table and squeezed his hand. "My father went through something similar. He lost his business and fell into a deep depression. It was very hard for our family. That is why I spoke up tonight. I saw something in your eyes that reminded me of him." "Is your father okay now?" Marcus asked. "Yes," Alina said. "It took time, but he got help. He is doing much better now. He owns a small shop and is happy again." "I am glad," Marcus said. He meant it. Alina had to get back to work. More customers were arriving for dinner, but before she left, she gave Marcus her phone number written on a napkin. "If you ever need anything, call me," she said. "A hot meal, someone to talk to, anything." "Okay," Marcus nodded. He folded the napkin carefully and put it in his pocket. It had been so long since someone had been kind to him like this. Since someone had treated him like he mattered. Mr. Moretti came over as Marcus was getting ready to leave. "That was something special," the manager said. His voice was gruff, but not unkind. "I will be honest, I did not think you could actually sing. I thought you were just another guy trying to get free food. But you have real talent." "Thank you," Marcus said. "If you ever want to come back and sing again, talk to me first," Mr. Moretti said. "Maybe we can work something out. A meal in exchange for entertainment. It would be good for business." Marcus did not know what to say. The idea that he could sing again, that people would want to hear him, seemed impossible, but maybe it was not impossible. Maybe tonight had opened a door he thought was closed forever. Marcus left the restaurant with his stomach full and his pockets heavy with money. He also had a bag of leftover food that would last him a couple of days. But the most important thing he carried was something else. It was a feeling he had not felt in a very long time. Hope. As he walked down the cold street, Marcus started to hum. Then he started to sing quietly. An old song his mother used to sing to him when he was a child. His breath made clouds in the cold air, and his voice echoed off the buildings. He did not know that across the city, thousands of people were watching him sing on their phones. He did not know that his video was being shared and liked and commented on. He did not know that TV news stations were already starting to take notice. He did not know that his life was about to change completely. All Marcus knew was that for the first time since Sarah died, he felt like maybe, just maybe, he could survive this. Maybe there was a reason to keep going. Maybe his voice was not gone after all. It was just waiting for the right moment to come back. Marcus found a quiet spot under an overpass where he sometimes slept. It was not warm, but it was dry and out of the wind. He wrapped himself in the extra jacket someone had given him at the restaurant. He looked at the photo of Sarah in his backpack. I sang tonight, he whispered to her picture. I sang for the first time since you left, and people listened. They really listened. I wish you could have been there. I wish you could have heard it. The photo did not answer, of course, but Marcus felt like Sarah would have been proud of him. She always believed in his talent. She always told him his voice was a gift that should be shared with the world. Marcus fell asleep that night with a full stomach and a lighter heart. He dreamed of Sarah. In the dream, she was smiling at him. She was wearing her white wedding dress, and she was applauding. When he woke up the next morning, his face was wet with tears, but they were not only sad tears, some of them were happy tears too. Marcus did not know it yet, but his world was about to explode in ways he could never imagine. The video from last night was still spreading. More and more people were watching it. They were searching for him. They wanted to know his story. They wanted to help. Sometimes miracles come when you least expect them. Sometimes they start with just one person believing in you. For Marcus, that person was Alina, and his miracle was just beginning. Marcus woke up the next morning under the overpass. The sun was coming up, painting the sky pink and orange. He felt different today. His body still hurt from sleeping on concrete, and he was still homeless, but something inside him had changed. Last night, he had remembered who he used to be. He had remembered that he was more than just a man living on the streets. He walked to a public bathroom in a park and washed his face with cold water. He looked at himself in the dirty mirror. His beard was messy, and his hair was too long. His clothes were dirty and old. But his eyes looked different. They had a small spark in them that had not been there before. Marcus spent the day walking around the city. He used some of the money from last night to buy a cheap sandwich and a bottle of water. He wanted to save the rest for something important, though he was not sure what yet. As he walked, he passed by Romano's restaurant. He stopped and looked at it. Last night felt like a dream. Had it really happened? He decided not to go in. He did not want to bother them. Alina had been so kind, and he did not want to seem like he was asking for more, so he kept walking. What Marcus did not know was that inside Romano's, everything was crazy. Mr. Moretti's phone had been ringing all morning. The restaurant's social media pages were flooded with comments and messages. People were calling to make reservations and asking if the singing homeless man would be there. Some people were even showing up without reservations, hoping to see Marcus. I do not understand what is happening, Mr. Moretti said to Alina. Why are so many people calling about that man from last night? Alina pulled out her phone and showed him. Look, Mr. Moretti, someone recorded him singing and posted it online. The video has millions of views now. Everyone is talking about it. Mr. Moretti watched the video on Alina's phone. Even though he had been there in person, watching it again gave him chills. Marcus's voice was so powerful, so full of emotion. It reached right into your chest and grabbed your heart. We need to find him, Mr. Moretti said. This could be very good for business. But also, he deserves to know what is happening. People want to help him. But finding Marcus was not easy. He did not have a phone. He did not have an address. He was one person in a city of thousands of homeless people. He could be anywhere. Meanwhile, the video kept spreading. It jumped from social media to the news. A local TV station picked up the story. They showed the video during the evening news, with the headline, "Homeless Man's Incredible Voice Goes Viral." The news reporter asked, "Who is this man? And how did someone with such talent end up living on the streets?" People all over the city started talking about Marcus. Some were moved by his story and wanted to help. Others were curious about who he was and what had happened to him. The video was being shared not just in the city, but across the country. People in other states were watching it. Even some people in other countries were seeing it. Marcus knew none of this. He spent that evening at a shelter. He got there early enough to get a bed for the night. After eating the dinner the shelter provided, which was just thin soup and bread, he went to his assigned bed. The shelter was crowded and noisy. People were coughing and talking. Babies were crying. But Marcus had learned to sleep through anything. The next day, Marcus walked back toward the downtown area. He was not planning to go to Romano's, but his feet seemed to take him that direction anyway. When he got close to the restaurant, he saw something strange. There were more people than usual walking around outside. Some of them had cameras. Marcus felt uncomfortable. He turned to walk away, but someone spotted him. "That is him," a woman shouted. "That is the man from the video." Suddenly, people were rushing toward him. Marcus panicked. He did not understand what was happening. Were they angry at him? Was he in trouble? He started to back away, but they surrounded him. "Sir, can we ask you some questions?" A man with a video camera said. He had a microphone in his hand. "Please, can you sing for us?" Another person asked. "What is your name?" Someone else called out. Marcus felt overwhelmed. There were too many people, too many voices. He looked around for a way to escape, and that was when he saw Alina pushing through the crowd. "Everyone, please back up," Alina said loudly. "You are scaring him. Give him some space." The crowd stepped back a little. Alina reached Marcus and took his arm gently. "Come inside," she said. "You will be safe in the restaurant." Marcus let her lead him through the crowd and into Romano's. Mr. Moretti was waiting by the door. He quickly locked it behind them so the crowd could not follow. "What is going on?" Marcus asked. His heart was beating fast. "Why are all those people out there?" "You do not know," Alina said. She pulled out her phone again. "Marcus, you are famous. The video of you singing has been seen by millions of people. Everyone is looking for you." She showed him the video. Marcus watched himself sing on the small screen. He listened to his own voice coming out of the phone's tiny speaker. He read some of the comments below the video. "This man has the voice of an angel. I am crying. This is the most beautiful thing I have ever heard. Someone please find him and help him. He deserves so much better." His voice gave me chills. Who is he? Marcus felt dizzy. He sat down in a chair. "I do not understand. I just sang one song." "It was not just any song," Mr. Moretti said. "It was special. People could hear the truth in your voice. They could feel your pain and your strength. That is rare. That is powerful." A news van pulled up outside the restaurant. More people were gathering. Word had spread fast that Marcus was inside Romano's. "We need to make a plan," Elena said. "You cannot just go back out there without being ready. Those reporters will eat you alive if you are not careful." "I do not want to talk to reporters," Marcus said. "I just want to be left alone." "I understand," Elena said. "But Marcus, this could be your chance. A chance to get off the streets. A chance to sing again for real. Do not you want that?" Marcus thought about it. Did he want that? A part of him did. The part that remembered who he used to be. The part that missed teaching music and performing. The part that loved to sing. But another part of him was scared. Scared of hoping again. Scared of trying and failing. Scared of letting people see how broken he really was. "I do not know if I can do this," Marcus said quietly. Mr. Moretti sat down across from him. "Let me tell you something," the manager said. "I came to this country with nothing. I worked in kitchens, washing dishes. I slept in a room with 6 other men. Everyone said I would never own my own restaurant. But I did not give up. I worked hard, and I took chances when they came. This is your chance, Marcus. Do not let fear stop you." Elena nodded. "You do not have to decide everything right now, but at least talk to one reporter. Tell your story. Let people know who you are. Then you can decide what comes next." Marcus looked out the window at the crowd. He saw the cameras and the curious faces. He thought about Sarah and what she would say if she were here. She would tell him to be brave. She would tell him that his voice was meant to be shared. She always believed in him, even when he did not believe in himself. "Okay," Marcus said finally. "I will talk to one reporter." "Just one," Elena smiled. "Good. I will help you choose which one. We will pick someone who seems kind and fair." They looked out the window at the different reporters. Elena pointed to a woman with gray hair and a gentle face. "That is Linda Martinez. She works for Channel 7 News. I have seen her reports before. She is respectful and honest. I think she would tell your story the right way." Mr. Moretti went outside and spoke to the crowd. He said Marcus would give one interview to Linda Martinez, and then everyone else needed to leave the restaurant alone. Some reporters complained, but most of them agreed. Linda came inside with just one camera person. She shook Marcus's hand and introduced herself. "Thank you for talking to me," Linda said. "I promise to be respectful. I just want to hear your story and let people know who you are. Is that okay?" "Yes," Marcus said. "That is okay." They sat down at a table. The camera person set up the equipment. Marcus felt nervous. He had not been on camera in years, but Linda had a kind way about her that made him feel a little better. "Whenever you are ready," Linda said. The camera person gave a signal, and the interview began. Linda Martinez began the interview with a soft smile. The camera was rolling, and Marcus sat across from her, trying not to look as nervous as he felt. "Marcus, thank you for agreeing to speak with us," Linda said. "The whole city has been talking about you since that video went viral. Can you tell us your full name and a little about yourself?" "My name is Marcus Rivera," he said. His voice was quiet at first. "I am 52 years old. I used to be a choir director at the Jefferson Performing Arts Academy." "Used to be?" Linda asked gently. "What happened?" Marcus took a deep breath. This was the hard part. Talking about Sarah. Talking about how his life fell apart. He looked down at his hands. "My wife, Sarah, died suddenly 2 years ago," he said. "She had a brain aneurysm. One morning we were having breakfast together, and by that afternoon, she was gone. I could not handle it. I fell into a very deep depression. I stopped going to work. I lost my job. Then the medical bills came, and I could not pay them. I lost our apartment. Eventually, I lost everything." Linda listened with compassion in her eyes. "That must have been incredibly difficult. I am so sorry for your loss." "Thank you," Marcus said. He could feel tears starting to form, but he tried to hold them back. "Tell me about the other night at Romano's restaurant," Linda said. "What made you decide to ask if you could sing for a meal?" "I had not eaten in 2 days," Marcus said honestly. "I was so hungry I could barely stand. I walked past the restaurant and smelled the food. I saw people eating and laughing. Something inside me just broke. I remembered that I used to have a talent. So I asked if I could sing in exchange for food. I expected them to laugh at me. Most of them did at first. But you sang anyway," Linda said. "Yes. There was a waitress named Alina. She convinced the manager to give me a chance. Just one song. So I sang. I chose an aria called Nessun Dorma. It was one of my wife's favorite songs. And your voice is extraordinary," Linda said. "Where did you learn to sing like that?" Marcus felt a small smile come to his face for the first time. "My mother taught me when I was young. She sang in church. Then I got a scholarship to study music in college. I spent my whole life singing and teaching others to sing. It was everything to me. Until I lost Sarah. Then I stopped singing completely. The other night was the first time I had sung in over a year." The interview continued for another 15 minutes. Marcus told Linda about his life before, about his students, about how much he loved teaching. He talked about living on the streets and how hard it was. How invisible you become. How people look right through you like you are not even human. When the interview ended, Linda stood up and shook his hand again. "You are very brave to share your story," she said. "I think a lot of people are going to want to help you." "I do not need charity," Marcus said quickly. "I just want a chance to work again. To use my voice for something good." "I understand," Linda said. "And I think that chance might be coming sooner than you think." After Linda left, Mr. Moretti offered to let Marcus stay in a small storage room above the restaurant for a few nights. It had a cot and a heater. It was not much, but it was warm and dry. Marcus accepted gratefully. That evening, Linda's interview aired on the Channel 7 News. People across the city stopped what they were doing to watch. They heard Marcus tell his story. They saw the pain in his eyes when he talked about Sarah. They heard him describe what it was like to be homeless and invisible. But more than anything, they were moved by his dignity. Marcus did not beg or complain. He did not blame anyone. He simply told the truth about what had happened to him. The phone calls started immediately. The news station received hundreds of messages. People wanted to know how they could help Marcus. Some offered money. Some offered jobs. Some offered places to stay. The outpouring of support was overwhelming. But something else was happening too. The original video from Romanos was being shared even more now. By the end of that night, it had over 5 million views. By the next morning, it had 10 million views. The video was going beyond viral. It was becoming a cultural moment. Famous singers started commenting on the video. A Broadway star tweeted, "This man has more raw talent than most trained professionals I know. Someone give him a job?" A famous opera singer shared it and said, "True art comes from the soul. This is what it sounds like." Music producers and talent agents started reaching out to the TV station, asking how they could contact Marcus. Everyone wanted to meet him. Everyone wanted to hear him sing again. Marcus knew some of this was happening, but he did not understand the full scope of it. He spent the next day in the small room above Romanos, resting and trying to process everything. Alina brought him food and showed him more of the comments and messages people were posting online. "Look at this one," Alina said, showing him her phone. "It is from a woman in Japan. She says your voice made her cry and reminded her to never give up on her own dreams." Japan, Marcus said, amazed. "People in Japan saw the video. People everywhere have seen it," Alina said. "You have touched hearts all around the world." There was a knock on the door. Alina opened it to find Mr. Moretti standing there with a well-dressed man. "Marcus, this is David Chen," Mr. Moretti said. "He is a talent agent. He would like to talk to you." David Chen was in his 40s with grey hair and an expensive suit. He shook Marcus's hand warmly. "Mr. Rivera, I have been in the music business for 25 years, David said. "I have worked with some of the biggest names in classical music. When I saw your video, I knew I had to meet you. Your voice is exceptional. With the right support and training, you could have a real career." Marcus stared at him. "A career? I am 52 years old and homeless. Who would hire me?" "Everyone," David said simply. "Right now, the whole world wants to hear you sing. People are not just impressed by your voice. They are inspired by your story. You represent hope. You represent the idea that it is never too late for a second chance." "I do not want to be some kind of circus act," Marcus said carefully. "I do not want people to pay to see the homeless man sing out of pity." "That is not what this would be," David said. "Yes, your story matters. But your talent matters more. I want to help you get back on your feet properly. Voice coaching, if you need it, though honestly, your technique is still solid. Professional opportunities. Real performances at real venues. This could be a new beginning for you, Marcus. A chance to do what you love again." Marcus was quiet for a long moment. He thought about Sarah. He thought about all the years he spent teaching and performing. He thought about the joy music used to bring him. "What would I have to do?" Marcus asked. "First, we get you some stable housing," David said. "I know a good transitional program that helps people get back on their feet. They provide housing, counseling, job training, all of it. While you are there, we start planning. Small performances at first. Local venues. Let you get comfortable again. Then we see where it goes from there." "And what do you get out of this?" Marcus asked. He had learned to be suspicious of people who offered help. There was usually a catch. "I take a percentage of what you earn," David said honestly. "That is how agents work. But only if you succeed. If you do not make money, neither do I, so it is in my best interest to help you succeed. I want this to work for both of us." Alina spoke up. "I looked him up online. He is legitimate, Marcus. He has a good reputation. He has helped a lot of artists." Marcus looked at each of them. Mr. Moretti, who had given him a place to stay. Alina, who had believed in him from the start. David, who was offering him a chance at a new life. And he thought about all the people who had watched his video and sent kind messages. "Okay," Marcus said finally. "I will try. I will give this a chance." David smiled big. "That is great news. I promise, you will not regret this." Over the next few days, things moved quickly. David helped Marcus get into a transitional housing program. It was a small apartment, nothing fancy, but it was clean and safe. Marcus had his own room, his own bed, his own key. He cried the first night he slept there, overwhelmed by the simple comfort of a real bed and four walls. The program also connected him with a counselor who specialized in grief and trauma. Marcus started going to therapy twice a week. It was hard to talk about Sarah and everything he had lost, but it also helped. Slowly, Marcus started to heal. Meanwhile, David was busy making plans. He booked Marcus for a small performance at a local community center. Just a test run to see how Marcus handled being on stage again. Tickets were only $10, and all the money would go to homeless services in the city. The tickets sold out in 2 hours. Then David got a call from the mayor's office. The city wanted to host a bigger benefit concert featuring Marcus. It would raise money for homeless shelters and mental health services. They wanted to hold it at the Riverside Concert Hall, the biggest venue in the city. "This is huge, Marcus," David said when he told him. "Riverside Concert Hall holds 2,000 people. If we can fill that, it will be incredible." Marcus felt scared and excited at the same time. 2,000 people. He had not performed for an audience that big in years. What if he failed? What if his voice did not hold up? What if people were disappointed? But deep down, Marcus knew he had to try. He had been given a second chance, and he could not waste it. He owed it to Sarah. He owed it to Alina and Mr. Moretti and David. He owed it to all the people who had believed in him when he could not believe in himself. "Let's do it," Marcus said. "Let's fill that concert hall." The weeks leading up to the concert were a whirlwind for Marcus. He woke up every morning in his small apartment, still not quite believing this was real. Was he really off the streets? Did he really have a concert coming up? Sometimes he had to pinch himself to make sure he was not dreaming. His days fell into a new routine. In the mornings, he met with a voice coach that David had hired. Her name was Patricia, and she was a retired opera singer. She helped Marcus work on his breathing and technique. His voice was still strong, but living on the streets had taken some toll on it. Patricia helped him rebuild his strength. "You have something special," Patricia told him during one session. "Your voice has power." "Yes, but it also has emotion. Real emotion. That is what people connect to. That is what makes you different." In the afternoons, Marcus went to therapy. His counselor, Dr. Williams, helped him work through his grief over Sarah. Marcus learned that he had never really let himself mourn properly. He had just tried to survive, to get through each day. Now, he was learning to feel his feelings instead of pushing them away. "Grief does not mean you have to stop living," Dr. Williams told him. "Sarah would want you to be happy. She would want you to use your gift." "I know," Marcus said. "But sometimes I feel guilty. Like I am moving on without her." "You are not moving on without her," Dr. Williams said. "You are moving forward with her memory. There is a difference." Marcus also spent time with Alina. She had become a good friend. They met for coffee once a week, and she always asked how he was doing. Not just about the concert, but about his life. How was he sleeping? Was he eating enough? Was he feeling okay? "You saved my life," Marcus told her one day. "If you had not spoken up that night at the restaurant, none of this would have happened." Alina shook her head. "I just gave you a chance. You saved yourself by having the courage to sing. That was all you." Meanwhile, preparations for the concert continued. The event was being called Finding Voice, a benefit concert. All the money raised would go to helping homeless people and supporting mental health programs. The city was fully behind it. The mayor even agreed to speak at the event. Tickets went on sale 3 weeks before the concert. They were priced from $20 for the back seats to $100 for the front rows. David and the organizers hoped they could sell at least half the seats. But something amazing happened. All 2,000 tickets sold out in less than 4 hours. "Marcus, this is incredible," David said when he called to tell him. "People are already asking if we will add another show." Marcus could not believe it. 2,000 people wanted to hear him sing. Him, a homeless man who just a few weeks ago was sleeping under a bridge. It seemed impossible. But with the excitement came pressure. Marcus started to feel nervous. What if he disappointed everyone? What if he got on that stage and froze? What if his voice cracked or he forgot the words? Dr. Williams helped him work through these fears. It is normal to be nervous, she said. That means you care. But remember, these people are not coming to judge you. They are coming to support you. They want you to succeed. As the concert date got closer, more good things started happening. The story of Marcus and the concert had caught the attention of the Jefferson Performing Arts Academy, where Marcus used to teach. The new director reached out to David. "We would like Marcus to come visit the academy," the director said. "Some of his old students still work here now as teachers. They would love to see him again. And we owe him an apology. We should have done more to help him when he was struggling." David arranged the visit. On a Tuesday afternoon, Marcus walked through the doors of the academy for the first time in over 2 years. His heart was pounding. So many memories lived in these halls. A small group was waiting for him in the main rehearsal room. There was the director, 3 teachers who had been Marcus's students, and about 20 current students. When Marcus walked in, they all started clapping. One of the teachers, a woman named Rachel, came forward with tears in her eyes. She hugged Marcus tight. "Mr. Rivera, I have missed you so much," she said. "You changed my life. You taught me not just how to sing, but how to believe in myself." Another former student, a man named James, shook Marcus's hand. "You were the best teacher I ever had," James said. "When I heard what happened to you, I felt terrible that we lost touch. I should have tried to find you. I should have helped. You could not have known," Marcus said. "I disappeared. I did not want anyone to see me like that." The director stepped forward. "Marcus, on behalf of the academy, I want to apologize. We should have supported you better when your wife passed away. We should have checked on you. Instead, we just let you go. That was wrong, and I am sorry." Marcus felt a lump in his throat. "Thank you for saying that. It means a lot. We would like to make it up to you," the director said. "After your concert, if you are interested, we would love to have you come back and teach. Even just 1 class a week. These students need someone like you. Someone who understands that music is more than just technique. It is about heart." Marcus looked at the young students sitting in chairs around the room. They were looking at him with wide eyes, like he was some kind of hero. It felt strange, but also good. "I would like that," Marcus said. "I would like that very much." Before he left, the students performed a song for him. They sang Bridge Over Troubled Water, and they dedicated it to Marcus. As he listened to their young voices, Marcus cried. These were good tears though. Healing tears. On his way out, Rachel pulled him aside. "Mr. Rivera, there is someone else who wants to see you. She is in the practice room down the hall." Marcus walked to the practice room. When he opened the door, he saw a young woman sitting at the piano. She had dark curly hair and was wearing a blue dress. She turned around and smiled. "Mr. Rivera, do you remember me?" Marcus looked at her closely. She looked familiar, but he could not quite place her. "I am sorry," he said. "I am not sure. It is okay. I was only 16 when I was in your choir. That was 10 years ago. My name is Jasmine Torres. You helped me get a scholarship to study music at the State University." Suddenly, Marcus remembered. Jasmine had been a shy girl with an incredible voice. She came from a poor family and thought college was impossible. Marcus had spent hours helping her with her audition, writing recommendation letters, applying for every scholarship he could find. "Jasmine? Of course, I remember you. How are you?" "I am great," she said, standing up. "I graduated with a degree in music education. Now I teach music at a middle school across town, and it is all because of you. You believed in me when no one else did. You changed my life, Mr. Rivera." They talked for a while. Jasmine told him about her students, about how she tried to teach them the same lessons Marcus had taught her. Before Marcus left, Jasmine said something that stuck with him. "Mr. Rivera, when I heard about what happened to you, my heart broke. But then, when I saw you singing in that video, I understood something. You teach us that music can heal. Now you are proving it. You are showing everyone that no matter how dark things get, beauty can still exist. Hope can still exist. Thank you for teaching us that lesson." Marcus left the academy feeling lighter than he had in years. He realized that even during his darkest time, the work he had done in the past still mattered. The students he had taught were out in the world now, making music, teaching others, spreading the joy he had given them. That evening, Marcus sat in his apartment with his guitar. He had not played guitar in years, but David had bought him a cheap one at a pawn shop. Marcus strummed it gently and started writing a song. It was a song about loss and pain, but also about hope and second chances. He called it Sarah's Song. He would perform it at the concert. It would be his way of honoring his wife and everything they had shared. It would be his way of saying that even though she was gone, the love they shared was still alive. It lived in every note he sang. It lived in every breath he took. The concert was now just 1 week away. Marcus felt ready. Not because he was perfect, or because all his problems were solved. He felt ready because he had learned something important. He had learned that he was stronger than he thought. He had survived the worst thing that could happen to a person, and he was still here. He was still singing, and sometimes, that is all you need. The courage to keep singing, even when the world has gone quiet around you. The day of the concert arrived. Marcus woke up early, before the sun came up. He could not sleep. His stomach was full of butterflies. In just a few hours, he would stand on the stage at Riverside Concert Hall in front of 2,000 people. He got out of bed and made himself coffee. His hands were shaking a little as he poured the water. He sat by the window and watched the sun rise over the city. The sky turned from dark blue to pink to orange. It was beautiful. Sarah would have loved it. "I wish you could be here," Marcus whispered. "I wish you could see this." His phone buzzed. It was a text from Alina. "Good luck today. You are going to be amazing. I will be in the front row cheering for you." Then another text came from David. "Big day, my friend. Remember to breathe and just be yourself. That is all anyone wants to see." More messages came throughout the morning. Rachel from the academy, Jasmine, Mr. Moretti, even some of his old students he had not heard from in years. They all sent words of encouragement. At noon, Marcus went to the concert hall for rehearsal. When he walked inside, he stopped and stared. The hall was enormous. Rows and rows of red seats stretched back as far as he could see. There were 2 balcony levels. The ceiling was high and decorated with beautiful paintings. In the center of it all was the stage, lit up by bright spotlights. "This is where you will be standing tonight," David said, walking him onto the stage. Marcus stood at the microphone and looked out at all the empty seats. Tonight, every single one would be filled. His heart started racing. "I do not know if I can do this," Marcus said. "Yes, you can," David said firmly. "You have already done the hard part. You survived. You found your voice again. Now, you just have to share it." They did a sound check. Marcus sang a few lines to test the acoustics. His voice echoed through the empty hall, rich and powerful. The sound engineer gave him a thumbs up. "Perfect," the engineer said. "Your voice is going to sound beautiful in here tonight." After rehearsal, Marcus went back to his apartment to rest and get ready. He took a long shower. He shaved his beard and got a haircut earlier that week. He put on the new suit that David had bought for him. It was simple and black, with a white shirt. When Marcus looked at himself in the mirror, he barely recognized the man staring back. He looked like his old self again. Professional, dignified, ready. At 5 in the evening, a car picked up Marcus and drove him to the concert hall. People were already gathering outside. The line to get in stretched around the block. News vans were parked nearby. Marcus saw reporters interviewing people in line. "Why did you come tonight?" a reporter asked a middle-aged woman. "Because his story touched my heart," the woman said, "and because I want to support the homeless community. We need to do better for people who are struggling." Inside, Marcus went to a private dressing room backstage. On the door was a star with his name on it. Marcus Rivera. He ran his fingers over the letters. It had been so long since he had a dressing room with his name on it. Alina came to visit him before the show. She brought him a bottle of water and a small gift wrapped in blue paper. "What is this?" Marcus asked. "Open it," she said with a smile. Marcus unwrapped the gift. Inside was a small picture frame. It held the photo of Sarah that he had carried in his backpack all those months on the street. Alina had cleaned it up and put it in a nice frame. "I thought you might want to have her with you tonight," Alina said. In a good way. Marcus felt tears come to his eyes. "Thank you, Alina, for everything. I do not know how to repay you. You already have," she said. "You reminded me why I wanted to be a nurse before I started waiting tables. Helping people. Making a difference. You inspired me to go back to school. I start nursing classes next month." Marcus hugged her. "I am so proud of you." At 7 o'clock, the doors opened and people flooded into the concert hall. The seats filled up quickly. Marcus watched from the side of the stage as the audience arrived. He saw Alina sitting in the front row with Mr. Moretti. He saw Rachel and James and Jasmine from the academy. He saw Dr. Williams, his therapist. He saw people from the shelter where he used to stay. He saw faces he recognized and many more he did not. But they all had one thing in common. They were all here for him. They all believed in him. At 7:30, the lights dimmed. The mayor walked onto the stage to speak first. She talked about the importance of supporting homeless services and mental health programs. She talked about how Marcus's story had inspired the whole city. "Marcus Rivera is a reminder that every person has value," the mayor said. "Every person deserves dignity and a second chance. Tonight, we celebrate not just his incredible talent, but his incredible spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marcus Rivera." The audience exploded in applause. Marcus took a deep breath. This was it. He walked onto the stage. The spotlight hit him, and for a moment he was blinded by the brightness. But then his eyes adjusted, and he saw all the faces looking at him with hope and kindness. Marcus walked to the microphone. The applause continued for a long time. He waited for it to die down, but it kept going. People stood up. The whole audience was giving him a standing ovation before he even sang a single note. Tears rolled down Marcus's face. He did not try to hide them. He let the audience see his emotion. Finally, the applause faded, and everyone sat back down. The hall became quiet. "Thank you," Marcus said, his voice echoing through the space. "Thank you for being here tonight. 2 months ago, I was sleeping under a bridge. I was hungry and cold and alone. I thought my life was over. I thought I would die on those streets." He paused and wiped his eyes. But something happened. A kind waitress gave me a chance. A restaurant manager let me sing for a meal. And that one moment changed everything. It reminded me that I still had something to give. It reminded me that I still had a voice. The audience was completely silent, hanging on his every word. Tonight, I want to sing for all of you. But I also want to sing for every person out there who feels invisible. Every person who feels forgotten. Every person who has lost hope. Your life is not over. Your story is not finished. There is always a chance for something better, always. Marcus nodded to the piano player, a young man from the academy. The music began. It was a classical piece, one that Marcus had loved for years. He began to sing. His voice filled the hall like a wave of pure emotion. Every note was perfect. Every word was clear. But more than that, every sound carried the weight of his journey. You could hear the pain he had suffered. You could hear the love he had lost. You could hear the hope he had found. The audience sat mesmerized. Some people cried openly. Some closed their eyes and let the music wash over them. Some held hands with the person next to them. No one moved. No one spoke. They just listened. Marcus sang for 45 minutes. He performed classical arias, gospel songs, even a few popular songs that he arranged in his own style. Each song told a piece of his story. Each song shared a piece of his heart. Then, for his final song, Marcus sat down at the piano himself. He had practiced this all week. It was not perfect, but it was honest. "I wrote this song for my wife, Sarah," Marcus said. "She died 2 years ago, and losing her destroyed me. But I realize now that she would not want me to stay destroyed. She would want me to keep living, keep singing, keep loving. This is for her." He began to play and sing Sarah's song. It was simple and beautiful. The lyrics talked about love that never dies, about memories that stay alive in your heart, about how the people we love are never really gone as long as we carry them with us. By the time Marcus finished, there was not a dry eye in the house. Even the tough-looking security guards were wiping tears away. The final note faded into silence. Then the applause began. It was not just loud, it was thunderous. The entire audience stood up again, clapping and cheering. Some people were whistling. Some were shouting, "Bravo!" The ovation went on for 5 full minutes. Marcus stood on the stage, overwhelmed. He bowed deeply. He put his hand on his heart. He looked up at the ceiling, as if Sarah could see him from somewhere above. He had done it. He had really done it. After the concert, there was a reception in the lobby. Hundreds of people wanted to meet Marcus, to shake his hand, to tell him how much his performance meant to them. Marcus tried to talk to as many people as he could. A young man approached him. He looked nervous. "Mr. Rivera, I just want to thank you. I have been homeless for 6 months. I came tonight because a shelter gave me a free ticket. Hearing you sing, hearing your story, it gave me hope that maybe I can turn things around too." Marcus shook his hand warmly. "You can," he said. "I promise you, you can. Do not give up." An older woman came up with her grandson. "This is Tyler," she said. "He wants to be a singer when he grows up. Can you give him any advice?" Marcus knelt down to the boy's level. "Always sing from your heart," he told Tyler. "And remember that your voice is a gift. Use it to make the world more beautiful." The reception lasted for 2 hours. By the time it ended, Marcus was exhausted but happy. David came up to him with a huge smile. "Marcus, I just got off the phone with 3 different venues. They all want to book you for performances. And I got a call from a recording studio. They want to produce an album with you. This is just the beginning." Marcus shook his head in wonder. "I cannot believe this is real." "Believe it," David said. "You earned this." Later that night, Marcus sat alone in his dressing room. The concert hall was empty now. Everyone had gone home. He looked at the framed photo of Sarah that Alina had given him. "I did it, Sarah," he said softly. "I found my way back. I am going to be okay." And for the first time since she died, Marcus truly believed that. He was going to be okay. Not because his problems were gone or because his life was perfect, but because he had learned something important. He had learned that even when you fall to the very bottom, you can still climb back up. Even when you lose everything, you can still find something worth living for. Marcus's journey had taken him from a concert hall to the streets and back to a concert hall again. But it was more than just a physical journey. It was a journey of the heart, a journey from despair to hope, from silence to song, from death to new life. The next morning, the newspapers were full of stories about the concert. Marcus Rivera's triumphant return. One headline read, "A voice that healed a city," said another. The concert had raised over $100,000 for homeless services and mental health programs. But for Marcus, the best part was not the headlines or the money, or even the promise of future performances. The best part was knowing that he had inspired people, that he had given hope to others who were struggling, that his story mattered. Marcus started teaching at the academy again, just 1 class a week. He performed at small venues around the city. He worked with homeless shelters, singing for people who needed to hear that change was possible. He continued his therapy and worked on healing from his grief. Life was not perfect. Marcus still had hard days. Days when he missed Sarah so much, it hurt to breathe. Days when he remembered being on the streets and felt scared it could happen again. But he had learned to live with the pain, instead of running from it. And every day, Marcus sang. He sang in his apartment while making coffee. He sang in the shower. He sang while walking down the street. Because singing reminded him that he was alive, that he had survived, that he had a voice worth sharing with the world. Sometimes people recognized him on the street. They would stop and thank him for his music, for his courage, for his story, And Marcus always took the time to talk to them, to shake their hands, to remind them that every person has worth. Because that was what he had learned from his journey. That no matter how far you fall, no matter how lost you become, you are never truly forgotten. Somewhere, someone believes in you. Somewhere, someone is waiting to hear your voice. You just have to be brave enough to sing,